Welcome, guys. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while, but we are now back. And without wasting any time, let me just get into the value. Today, I got a value-packed video for you guys. Hopefully, you take a thing or two from this video, and it won't be just one video. It will be a continuation, sort of like a series. As the value that I want to give to you guys, it's a bit. Long and packed and very informative, so I didn't want to make just one long video. I'll be just cutting it into pieces, maybe 5 or 10 minute videos depending on how long the content takes. But as you can see here, right here on the screen, we have the startup roadmap. I believe you know by now that my channel is mostly focused on startups or the skills that you need to run a startup or to start your own startup. As I've also started my own startup. I've started my own startup, I think, in 2022. That startup failed. I'm currently on my second startup now. The startup that I started before, we were three directors, or rather three founders. So now I'm just alone. I'm studying again, trying to use all the skills that I've learned, all the lessons that I've learned. I'm trying to now pass them on. And as you can see by doing this video, I'm trying to also help you guys, some of you who haven't started on this journey, trying to pave the way for you guys on how to go about this journey, what things you might come across, and how to actually tackle those things. So without wasting any time, this is the startup roadmap brought to you by Tato Semenya. So let's go, guys. So the first step in your startup journey is to identify your idea or validate your idea. So the first step is idea validation. So here on the idea validation, essentially is when now, before starting your startup, you have to sit down and ask yourself, as you can see by the gentleman here, he's questioning himself, this gentleman. So you have to sit down and ask yourself, what idea do I want to start, or rather what business do I want to start? But just before you go deeply into the business model, start with the idea first. What idea is it that I want to start? What idea do I want to build? What solution is it that I want to build? Does it solve a certain problem? Or what does it solve actually? Is it a convenience, or is it a need, or is it a want, or is it a luxury? Or people can just live without solving this thing or without having this solution. So what idea is this that I have? Is it feasible? So the purpose of the idea validation is to ensure your startup idea is feasible and addresses a real need, just like I said, because you don't want to just come up with a solution or an idea and start a business and invest a lot of money in the prototyping and product development. But at the end of the day, after developing all those things, when you now come to consult or engage with your users to get those feedback, they don't actually need this solution or need this product. So by doing the idea validation, that's where now you are going to find out if this thing is really needed by the people that I'm saying I'm developing this thing for. Hence, in the design thinking master classes, they've always taught us that you must develop a user-centric approach when making solutions or services or whatever that you develop. Be user-centric. Put your users first before actually coming up with the solution. Put yourself in the shoes of this person, what their needs, what they spend on, their habits, all those things. Then now you can come up with the product. You don't start first with the product and then you want to force it on the people. You have to start with the people that you want to. Let's say, for example, I want to make what example can I give? Maybe a smartphone for business owners. I have to now first go into the shoes of the business owners. They are usually busy people. They on the phone, maybe on calls, not necessarily on social media, depending on the business. They do take content to post for marketing and all those stuff. So I have to make sure that the phone that I produce for these people at least has a good camera, because these people have to take content, have to post online. It has a fast performance. The processors are a bit faster, so as they can have a smooth and a clean navigation through the apps and all those things. Those are some of the things that I can, and also on top of the phone, I can maybe make it come with certain apps that I know, like productivity apps that are built in into the phone, because I know that these people maybe have a busy schedule, so they might need an app that will remind them now and then that, oh, you have this, or by 9 you have a meeting with this, you have a brainstorming session with who and who, you see. So those are some of the things that I would have to look at, but I would have to engage with the business owners first, including myself. For what are the needs, their behaviors, their pain points, and then I can now go into developing the phone. I don't just develop the phone and then I go give it to these people. So the questions you have to ask yourself when we come to this is, the first question that you need to ask is, does your idea solve a real problem? Just like I've been saying, is this thing really a problem, or are you just passionate about developing this thing, or this problem that you are seeing, does it really require that solution? So we might have different problems. We have a water scarcity problem, we have an unemployment problem currently. So you might say, I want to come up with a solution to this unemployment problem. So look for the stats that actually validate that this thing is really a problem. Like, for example, here in Northwest, we currently have above 50% unemployment rate, and most of that people that are unemployed, it's youth mostly. So you might want to come up with a solution that's mostly based around the youth, that can resonate well with the youth. They will relate with it. It will be engaging. As you know, the youth, they usually have a short time span because of some of the apps like TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and all those things. So some people nowadays have a short attention span. So the solution that you are going to come up with, it must be engaging, maybe short in bits and pieces. It must, keep them active, keep them enticed. If it's a learning platform, for example, by learning, keep them enticed. Don't just give them the content test. No, keep them, make it fun, because we are now focusing on the youth, because the problem that we are solving is unemployment, and on that unemployment, most people that are unemployed is the youth. Hence, we are coming up with ways that youth usually engage, like social media, TikTok. They like those things. So whatever solution that you come up with, make it similar to their interest. And then also, once you now know that this thing is really a problem, the stats are telling me, the data is there. Now, is there a market for your solution? Since by developing this solution or coming up with this idea, you do want to make money at the end of the day, but now, is there a market, or what is the market share for your solution? There may be different solutions to solving unemployment. You might come up with an online learning platform. There may be programs you may come up with. You may want to build a school that's free. Maybe you may. There's a lot of ways you can come up with. I'm not going to go into all of them, but whatever solution that you decide to choose when solving your problem that you have identified, is there a market for that solution? Is there people, as you can see here, is there people who are willing to pay for the solution? So you now have to identify the market, and maybe there may be a market, but majority of the market is maybe captured by large players. Maybe there are huge enterprises who have already have a much chunk of the market, but you can look for that portion that's not served by the larger establishments or corporates, and then you just niche down to that market, then say this solution is tailored for this type of people, which means that's going to be your market share. So you must look for a problem, must be real, and that problem must be there must be a market for that solution. So which means you are not going to say you are covering for the whole what's this? You are covering for the whole market, or for, in this case, let's say it's unemployment, and then you are saying no, it's for everyone that's unemployed. Maybe it won't work that way. Maybe you would say it's only focusing on the unemployed youth, maybe from 18 to 35, with certain demographics. This solution works best for them. Maybe you want youth that has access to income, or maybe access to money. Maybe they have a family where they can ask to pay for a certain subscription or something like that. You don't want just any youth. I'm just making examples here. You don't want just any youth who doesn't have access to any money or any finance assistance, so they don't have the means to pay. That's if your solution requires money. That's some of the things that you can look at. So now by idea validation here, now what you have to do is you have to now do the market research, as I've been mentioning here, with your customers. Analyze the competitors, as I've highlighted that there may be larger corporates, larger enterprises who have the larger market share, but there's still an untapped market where your solution can be the domain there and be the ruler in that untapped market that's not utilized by the larger enterprises. Look at the customer pain points in the unemployment section. Maybe these people, they don't have money, they are struggling, there's poverty. There may be different pain points for different demographics. Look at that. And then you also look at the industry trends before you actually develop your solution. Conduct surveys and interviews. I'm pretty sure you can get access to many people, especially the times where people are at work. You'll find youth in the streets, maybe, or in the corners, in the shops. Just ask them questions, maybe interact with them, find out their situations, what's going on, what do they think might solve their problem. Get into their shoes, what's their perspective, what do they think might be a solution to the challenge that I have of unemployment. Some are depending on the government, they are waiting for the government, but some maybe, because some of the people, they do have ideas, they are clever. It's just that unemployment is an issue that we have currently, so there's no jobs, they don't, or maybe they don't have some other knowledge on where they can go to look for jobs or other means of making income instead of looking for a job. That's why I've started this channel. I'm trying to pass on the information to teach someone that there are other ways of making income instead of just looking for a job or depending on grants or the government to do something about you. But there are other means you can try and utilize to actually make your own income. And then now it's time where you are going to plan your MVP, which is a minimum viable product. That's your solution, your product, your service, whatever that you'll be now developing. You have to plan all the features, everything that's included, the functionality. This is where now you are going to do all these things before you actually go into the building. So the tools and methods, like I've said, there's online surveys, or you can just reach out to these people. You can go in the streets, depending on your problem. Some people, your ideal customers, you may not find them online, depending on what's the problem you are solving and what's the solution. And then some maybe digital, you are into digital solutions, you might find your ideal customers online. So also look into word of mouth, going out in the streets, reach out to people, engage with people, as businesses engaging with people before the solution or before the profits. There's this quote I've heard. I don't remember who's this guy. I heard the quote. He said, um, in business, you don't put profit first, you put people before profit. Once you make sure that the people are well served, are satisfied, their problems are solved, that's where now the profit will come. You don't say, I'm starting a business focusing on the profit first. No, solve the ideal problem that these people have. Make sure that these people are satisfied. When these people are satisfied, everything is well taken care of. They will pay you. In turn, you will get your profit. So put people first, and then the profit will also come. So now that you have done all these tasks and you are in your idea validation, let's look at some of the pros and cons. But at this stage, since you'll be starting, you haven't developed anything yet, so there's a low cost. When you look at the pros, it's a low cost way to test validation, because asking people, doing surveys, you won't really be charged, or you won't really spend anything unless you want to print paper for people to fill in the surveys and all that. But it's close to zero rands that you're going to spend. You won't spend a lot of money doing this, and it's an early customer feedback reduces risk, because once as I've said, you first engage with the customer before you develop the solution for them. For example, maybe by doing those research, those interviews, those surveys, engaging with your customers, you might find out actually what I wanted to make is not really going to solve this problem. So I have to take a different direction. It may be still the same solution, but maybe just take a different direction, because the way you have engaged with these people, they won't really, or rather, the solution won't really work for them in the way that I wanted it to. But because now I have the insights from them, and this is now the direction I'm going to take, because in this way, it's now going to work best for them. So when you look at the cons, it's a bit time consuming, because now you have to do that research, gather a lot of data, and you may also get biased or incomplete feedback, because sometimes when you maybe you also have that problem yourself, and then you might, maybe you have been unemployed, or you still are also, now you want a solution to solve that unemployment which you are also going through. You might be biased in making this thing, thinking is going to, or maybe because it might solve it for you, but you are not looking at the broader problem. Corey, the next person, will the next person benefit from this? So those are some of the things that you have to look at, guys. So now that when you are done with the idea validation, you have identified everything that we have mentioned here. You have to now go to the next step. The next step is now you have to develop your business model. So this is now the business model development. So here in this step, guys, in the business model development, the purpose of this step is where you're going to now define how your startup will make money. What are your revenue streams? How is money going to be coming into the business? Are you going to be selling? If you are selling, how is money coming in? Is it a once-off thing? Is it a subscription model? You see, what are the channels that are bringing the money into the company? Since by solving a particular problem, because we are now in business, there must be money coming in. But that's why I started with the idea validation. As I've said, you have to put people before profit, and you can see with the flow of this chart that at the idea validation, there's people involved. You are engaging with your people, you are doing surveys, you are going out, you are reaching out, gathering the information, the data. Now you come to the business side, where there's going to be potential profits. So there's people first, and then you come to the business development. So in the business development, there are certain factors involved. Is it going to be a registered company? Is it the corporate partnership? Are you alone? Those are some of the legal terms that you are going to come across. But as we just look at the few different models to make money, as you can see, there's a huge stash of dollars there. Because by making, if you do have a great solution that solves a real problem, you'll now be seeing this money. I know I'm in South Africa and we use rands, but I do welcome dollars as well, as I believe I'm going to be attracting clients or customers globally, So it's not going to be rands. Also, dollars are welcome. I'm manifesting and I do accept that. So let's look at the different models that we have, the different business models that we have. So we have e-commerce. E-commerce, it's a bit straightforward, where now your solution maybe would be selling through an online platform, like e-commerce platforms like we have Take a Lot, we have what's this, Shopify, we have Amazon. There's a different e-commerce platforms that are there. So depending on your solution, we also have SaaS, and then SaaS is a software as a service. So here, that's where now you are going to be developing a software, and then this software solves a particular problem, or closes a particular gap for a certain demographic or for a certain group of people. For example, let's look at Stripe. Stripe is a SaaS platform whereby it solves the payment issues, where it collects or sends or collects payments on behalf of a platform. Maybe you have a platform, a certain platform, and then there have to be purchases on the platform. You can use Stripe to just integrate with that platform. So you can have a SaaS, or maybe you have a freemium. So when we have a freemium model, that's why now I'm going to be using platforms or softwares or digital solutions as an example, because that's the domain that I have more knowledge about as I'm a software developer. So in the freemium model, that's where now you're going to be developing a solution or a software and let it be free to people. So maybe I develop an e-learning platform, for example, free of charge. I give it to people, they can use it to learn those skills so that I can solve that problem of unemployment. So in the freemium model, they will be doing the courses for free, everything for free, but they don't get access to the full functions or full features in the freemium model. Maybe, for example, when they completed the course on my e-learning platform, for them to get the certificate, there's a certain premium they have to pay. So that's how the freemium model works. The skills, the content you do get for free, but there's a certain feature. For you to unlock that feature, you must pay a certain premium. For example, in this case, you will complete the course, you do have the skill, I've upskilled you, but now to get the certificate to prove that you do have the certain skill, you must pay a certain premium. And then we do have subscription. Subscription is I think it's straightforward, where you have a maybe for people to use your services or platform or whatever solution you have, they pay maybe on a monthly basis. And then we do have marketplace. In the marketplace, that's where now your solution is to connect people. Maybe you are connecting buyers and sellers. You are developing a platform for them to interact. Maybe we do have a bunch of sellers and a bunch of buyers, and then these sellers don't have access to the buyers. So you want to develop a platform where these buyers come onto your platform, list their products and services, and then the buyers come onto the platform and buy from those people. You are not the one who's actually developing those products or delivering those services. You are the middleman for these people to interact, and then you just make your money by taking a certain percentage from the transactions that happen on the platform. And then there's direct sales or once-off payments. Maybe you have a certain product that you have developed. You are now interacting directly with the customer, selling directly to the customer. So these are some of the models that you have developed, that you have gone through. But these are not the only business models that we have to grow sales, as you can see here. So now you are going to be going into the tasks that you have to do to develop your business model. Choose a business model that suits your product and market. Because you see all these business models that I've identified here, they all depend on the product. As you can see, the product next to this gentleman, they all depend on the product and the market that you are serving. You don't just say I want a subscription because money will be coming in every month. No, 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 no. You have to first, does your product have room or accommodate a subscription model? And the market as well, do they welcome that type of subscription? Maybe the type of market that you want to tap into is the type of market that believe in buying once off or paying once off a full amount. Maybe they don't mind paying maybe an expensive payment. Maybe they do want to pay maybe a few thousand once off instead of paying a few hundreds every month. They do believe in buying once off. They have the product, they can use it anytime they want. And then maybe there are some people who believe in licensing out. Maybe you have a software, they want to license out. They don't want to buy the whole software because it's going to be expensive. So maybe they can just license it and then maybe white label it and then use it for themselves. Now they're going to be paying per month. It's going to all depend on your product and your service. And then you have to identify the revenue streams, as I've just said. How is the money going to be coming in? And it's also dependent on your product and your service, also the market. So now that we have our model, we know the idea that we want to do, and we've validated that idea, that it's fine. The idea, the problem is real, is really a need, and there's a customer, there's a market for this kind of idea. Now you've chose the business model that you're going to be using to make money with that idea. Now let's move on, guys. As you can see, this is a journey. Let's go into the market positioning and branding. As you can see now, this is where you're going to have your social media, word of mouth, email marketing. That's where all those things are involved now, guys. So the purpose of the market positioning and branding is to define your unique value proposition, also known as UVP, or rather, uh, some people just call it the value proposition and brand identity. Who are you? You know, you have to have a brand identity. When someone, for example, when you see Nike or that Nike logo, you know that it's somehow associated with sports, athletic, uh, fitness. It's somehow related to that because that's their brand identity. What's your brand identity? Let's look at a few components that go into brand identity. So the first one here, what makes you different from your competitors? So this is now what we look at, the value proposition. So okay, it's fine. We have developed a, let's say in the unemployment example, we have developed an e-learning platform. These are other e-learning platforms here. But what sets this one apart? What sets yours apart? What makes it different? What makes it unique? They all offer courses. That's the common thing in them. They all offer courses. But what's that special feature that yours has that's different from all the others? As you can see in this example here, there's a different globes, but this one it's still lighting. What makes it still on while others are off and they've fallen down, but this particular one is still on, but given in mind they are all light bulbs. As you can see, they are all light bulbs, but this one is still standing and it's still on. What makes it different to the others? Why didn't it just fall off like the other ones and switch off? So when developing your solution, you have to look at that. What's that unique selling proposition? Maybe yours might have this, it might have that. I don't want to give out too much sauce here. You know, depending on the product as well, depending on the product and service. Because some markets, they have too many competitors. In a market where you have too many competitors, you have now to be really unique. And then there are some markets that are untapped, so there's not a high competition. Whoever comes up with a solution in that market, they wins the whole market. So those types of markets, sometimes they don't have really a unique, or maybe the uniqueness is because they are the only ones developing those things to solve that problem. But in a market where there's a huge competition, especially large corporates, maybe you have big companies that are into that market, you must be really unique. And then you have to have now your target audience. Who are you selling to? As you can see, elaborated with this picture here, there's a huge target market. And then there's something that I've heard in some masterclass. I don't remember which business masterclass it was. They told us that the presenter was asking questions. What's your solution? What's your solution? We named our solutions. And then they asked the certain gentleman, who's your target market? And then he said, everyone. There's no target market called everyone, guys. You must identify your target market to the demographic. You must know who's your target market. You can't say everyone. As you can see, there's many people here, but this red one, this is the particular one I want. I want someone who has an income every month. The income must be from, maybe if you say I want someone who has an income every month, we can have, for example, 10 million people. Let's say we are in South Africa, 10 million people have an income every month. But the income the people that I want, the income must be between between 10 to 20,000. Is now going to filter down to maybe 3 million, as many people don't earn that much high. And then maybe you say they must also own a car. It's now gonna come from 3 million maybe to 900,000, as not all people own cars. You see, as you niche down your market and the demographics, you know exactly that this solution is for this particular person, not just everyone. But you do welcome these other ones if they do want to come and buy. But when developing the solution, you know that ideal target market is this specific person who earns this much, who owns this, who has this certain behavior, who have this certain pain points. You don't just say everyone, guys. And then now we come to your brand identity. As I've made an example with Nike, you know that when you see a Nike logo, it's sports. You're thinking of sports, you're thinking of athletes, you're thinking of being fit, running, maybe. So the narrative behind your startup, you should have a certain narrative that you have behind your startup. So when I see, let's say our company, we call it, what name can I say for the unemployment e-learning platform that I've been doing? Let's say we call it Elevate. So when I see Elevate, what do I get? What do I see? When I see Elevate, I must get that professionalism, I must get that elegance, elite, if that's the narrative that I'm going with. You must be able to portray that with your startup or with your idea. And then now we go into the brand assets. That's now when you now have the brand identity. You can now come into the assets, which are your logos, the color schemes, the fonts. As you can see with different logos here, they have different fonts. You see the Google and the Facebook logos, they have different fonts. The Coca-Cola has a different font and also different colors. Google may have chosen these different colors because they represent something to them, whilst others like Facebook, Twitter, or McDonald's, they have only one color, but Google chose different colors because it represents something to them. It means something to them. So you have to look at those things, guys. So I know that you might now be thinking, after all this, you might be thinking, okay, now how do I go about this? And is there any pros and cons? To everything there is a pro and con. So let's look at the pros first. By developing and having your market positioning and brand identity, it makes it clear. You're going to have a clear positioning, which makes marketing easier, because once you have your ideal customer, you have the demographics of your customers, you know who you are selling to, you know who to market your things to. When you are making maybe brand campaigns and you are going to pay for like Facebook ads or Google ads, you know exactly who you are targeting. You are not going to just target everyone, and then at the end of the day you are losing money, because out of all the people you are targeting, maybe only 5 is your ideal customer, and the ad goes out to about 5,000 people. If you are putting the correct correct variables and maybe demographics, age, and all those things, and then it goes out to 5,000 people, who are your ideal customers? Maybe out of the 5,000, 500 will end up buying, who knows? And also it gives you a strong a strong branding builds customer loyalty, because when I see your brand, what's the name that I just mentioned, Elevate, I know that these people are professional. These people are, they provide an elite solution or service. I know that by engaging with them, I'll if maybe I didn't have any skills, I'll come up with good valuable skills, or I'll be employed. They will solve my problem, because of their brand. They see, man, there's that brand awareness. It must be, when the customers see a strong brand, they can easily recommend it to other people as well, and they will be loyal to you. And then now when we look at the cons, if you fail to do this step correctly, poor positioning can confuse customers. Let's say, for example, there are other brands. When you look at this brand, you are not really sure what this person or what this brand really does or represents. Today they are today they are preaching cars. Tomorrow they are preaching computers. The next day they are offering services, medical services. Like, you see, there's a confusion there. So you can, as a customer, I'm not gonna stick to that type of brand, because I don't know that I go to them when I have a problem with cars or computers or health. I want to know that when I come to you, I know that you are very good at computers. Anything hardware, software, that's your brand. When I have a problem with computers, I come to this particular company. When I have a health issue, I know I go maybe a private or whichever hospital. That's They are good with that. When I have a problem with cars, I go to dealerships, panel beaters. I don't expect to come to you, but you are all over the place. You are solving everything for everyone. No, no, no. It doesn't sit well with our customers. And then when you are all over the place like this, rebranding later can be costly, because now remember, we already know that this person, the company does everything, is all over the place. Now if you want to rebrand and maybe focus on cars alone, it's going to be very costly, because we are going to have changed the whole brand identity. And then all the customers that you have maybe in your database, some of them didn't come because of cars. You are now going to be rebranding into cars. Maybe, for example, maybe you're going to be a panel beater or a dealership, but all your customers that you have built throughout the years, not all of them came to you because of cars. Some were because of computers, some were because of health. Now you are trying to rebrand. Now it's going to be very costly, because you're going to have start and get new customers as well. So these three steps are the first steps that we're going to go into in this video. As you can see, there's other steps going forward, but for now I'm just going to leave it here. We'll continue, guys. Please comment down below, what do you think of the video, what do you think of the information. I know I've been gone for a while, guys, but I'm now back to the channel. I'll be dropping valuable information. Please like, comment, subscribe, hit the subscribe button below. I'll try to drop at least 1 or 2 videos every week from now. I want to also build, and also, even if you don't have a business mindset as yet, because I'm trying to build one in you, just share this video with someone who you know is starting out or is struggling, or they just want to connect and network with like-minded people. Share this channel with your friends. Share with someone who's unemployed, who wants other ways to make money. I'll be dropping valuable information going forward. Yes, so for now, this is where we end, guys. But don't worry, it's going to be continued with other steps until you get to the point where you can say now you are ready to start and launch your startup. That's me, Tato Semeya. Peace out.